not bad. What's happening?
Oh, it's pissing it down with rain here. That's what's happening. So,
Yeah, right.
I
Yeah,
mean,
there's a bit of rain here. Where are you?
I'm in Adelaide.
Oh yeah, no worries.
So I'm Ian from Hi-Fi Wait. Thanks for squeezing us in. I know that I think you were meant to finish half an hour ago, so thanks, man.
Yeah, no problem, man. No worries at all.
Much appreciated. We'll get into it. The Uncaged Festival, that's what the main bulk of this is. You played the two shows. You've done Sydney and Melbourne. Bit of a Sydney and Brisbane. You got a homecoming show this Saturday.
Yep.
What's it been? What were the first two shows like?
Yeah, I think Sydney we had a few technical issues, but it came together. It's always a bit chaotic, with a festival, and there was a few changes and things that we sort of navigating. But yeah, I mean, it was cool. Brisbane was probably the better of the two for us, but both shows, I think what impressed us was the staff. The staff and the crew at Uncaged was really good boost. And yeah, I mean, that always makes a big difference when you get looked after, and there was a really positive vibe amongst the people that are in attendance. And the highlight was having the opportunity to check out, acts that we would never be on a bill with, in any other circumstance.
Yeah.
So that was really cool. Like Tex Perkins and Tim Rogers, and and actually she had rocked. Like they were really cool.
They are. I've seen them a few times. They are an excellent band live. Live, they're sensational.
Yeah, and they're just as good as when they supported Faith No More. Like that's when I first saw them.
Yeah.
And I don't even know if they just started sort of touring internationally at that point. I don't know where they came from. That was the first I heard of them ages ago, and they were just as good at Uncaged. Absolutely smashed it. It was awesome.
Oh, you are right, because it is a kind of a weird bill that was there as well, because you've got everybody from Killing Heidi all the way to Psychroptic.
Yeah.
That doesn't
Yeah,
work.
well, that's the other funny thing is I've been mates with Jesse and Ella for probably 15 years, and we've always played completely different music, and we were on the same stage. Like, that was, yeah, it's cool. Like, it was surprisingly, there was a lot of, like, I don't know, is camaraderie the right word? Like, sort of a mutual, like, bands were watching other bands, and, we were just enjoying it. Like, but I mean, I'm into that sort of stuff. Like I got pretty sort of all over the shop taste. So it was each, whatever you're going to watch is going to be different to what you'd expect. I prefer that than watching a whole lineup of bands that, could be the same band.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that was the surprising element that I think, it actually sort of fell into place, when I was there going, okay, this could actually be a thing, if Aussies can get behind it, like just sort of not necessarily keeping things to what's directly successful right now or one particular genre, but spreading it across eras certainly made for an interesting experience.
Well, that's what I thought when you look at that. You are right. It's eras. I mean, you got Body Jar, who were probably at their peak. Say, Body Jar is still touring now, actually, as well, but a bit like yourselves. But then, as we mentioned, Killing Heidi were probably 20 years ago when they were at their commercial peak. As you mentioned, Tim Rogers and Tex Perkins, and even Super Jesus and Wolf Mother. Bands like that. They've all had their points where they were great. And when you were mentioning about camaraderie was the word you used, and I was going to ask about the vibe, but the way you've described it to me, would it be fair to say it was almost like, because you guys have been around for so long and we know each other, almost like a family type?
Yeah, I mean, it had a bit of that, and like, I think, because like even at the airport, like I was bumping into all sorts of people, that I'd met, and you forget about this stuff because of COVID and whatever. You forget that, you know, there's kind of an Australian music, you know, cohort to a certain, you know, a better term, I should say. But I really appreciated that. And I mean, I've listened to Tex Perkins, you know, the Cruel Sea in particular, like when I was in high school, and you know, to see him perform and then have a chat with him afterwards. And I used to teach songwriting, and I used some of his lyrics. You know, Black Stick is the particular song, and I chatted to him about that. And he was, that you would hope, you know, these people that have, as you said, been sort of seemingly around forever in the, you know, the Australian music zeitgeist. It was really nice to chat to them and confirm that they're good people, you know. That's always a bonus, you know, and yeah, because it could easily be the other way. Like, you know, they could be all gnarly. Not the case at all.
Well, that's good to hear, because and again, that creates the first thing I think you said on here. It goes and creates that really good vibe that everybody had. That, you know, the crew were happy, the crowd were happy. I was going to ask actually about that. I mean, what was, considering it's such an eclectic bill, how do you think your music went across? I mean, your music is quite eclectic as well, but how do you feel your music went across with their fans?
Probably not well.
Fair enough.
But, you know, I'm not sure really. You know, we had I was seeing a lot of Ninja t-shirts sort of floating around, so we came out and chatted to a bunch of people. When I reflect on the audience, I just think, you know, the post-COVID shows, you know, people are just really appreciative and happy to see music, you know, and I think because it probably is such a diverse bill, I think people are just going to be into whatever, you know, like they're there to see music, they're there to have a good time, and as long as you do what you do well, like, you can't really lose.
On that, because I saw you when you were here in Adelaide, on your first show back, actually.
Right, yeah, that was good fun, that one.
Yeah, I always remember the comment. It was like being on a cruise ship.
Yeah, we've actually kind of embraced that. That was the first night we sort of were doing that cruise ship thing, and now we've just been a running joke. So, yeah, I've changed some of the intro track to be like an announcement over the you know, the intercom of a boat.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's but I don't know. It's good. It's good escapism, you know.
And it's with everybody, especially in your neck of the woods, in Melbourne and that, with everybody being locked away for so long, just to be able to come out and just chill would be, as I think you mentioned earlier, a release, just to go, boom, here you go.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know. I kind of feel like we're turning the corner. You know, I think everyone's still bloody getting COVID, but it's just, you know, it's not sort of the devastation that it caused previously. Like the ICUs and stuff aren't being overrun. Like, people aren't being hospitalised. It's basically a flu, you know, because of the vaccines and all that kind of shit floating around. So, yeah, I think it's finally getting. I can kind of see the light at the end of the tunnel. You know, to use a shit analogy, but you know, it's. It feels good, and like I said, it's kind of been refreshing in that kind of way where you don't see a good friend for a long time, and you realise how much you miss them when you see him again. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And that was the vibe when you played here, that was the vibe I got. It's like, even though everybody was sitting down, it was just like, thank God you guys are here and you guys are performing and just doing your shit, because everybody just, it's such a release for them.
And that Adelaide venue, the people that run that place are just so lovely. Like, it's just such an institution, and I don't know. I think I've got a renewed appreciation for, everyone behind the scenes, because of what they've had to endure as well. So, yeah, and I mean, anyone who's still sort of trying to make it work and put things on or trying to organise stuff, I've got a lot of respect for them, because it's bloody hard to do anything. So, yeah.
So, Melbourne this weekend, homecoming. How do you feel when you go back and you play in front of friends and family? Is it weird?
It is. Yeah, I can't figure out if I love it or hate it. I can't. It's somewhere in between. I think I feel good. It's kind of like when you go to the beach and it's not that hot and you kind of don't really want to go into the water, but once you're in, it's great. It's kind of that kind of vibe. I gotta just dive in, but yeah, I mean, it is cool. Like we started here, so there's a lot of our fans and supporters and friends that are all here. So that side of it's really good. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's just when you're not on the full on tour in tour mode and playing, 30 shows in a row, like diving in and out of the realities of being a performer and then going back to normality, that swapping and changing is a bit of a trip, that's probably the most anxiety-inducing part, is the transition from, okay, we're in gig mode. It's much better when we do, like, a string of shows and you just get right into the zone sort of thing. And all of any kind of anxious parts just kind of melt away. So I think that's heightened when it's the home, the home crowd. It's sort of like, geez, we better be good, We have to, pull this off. So, yeah.
You don't want your phone getting blown up with, oh, geez, man, that was shit. Or you were out of tune.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's what's good about having two guitarists, is like, if I make a mistake, I just pull a weird face and make it look like Ro did it. So I've always got that out. Yeah.
Fair enough. We will touch a bit briefly, but not on the new album that came out. So it's a Vengeance, which is I love the album. I thought it was fantastic.
Oh, thanks.
That's all right. And actually, I did a review which you commented on. So yeah, so you already knew that. But
okay.
So with the releasing that album, I know you did the comic book as well. In the past, as you touched on there, you would drop that, you would then go and do an Australian tour, you then fuck off over to Europe or America or whatever. How have you had to manage that now with 5 shows?
Yeah, it's definitely been unusual, and I think the unexpected side effect is you don't get that kind of feedback. I think anyone who creates anything, they do it to sort of get it out there to people. So although you can see reviews and you can see people commenting and whatever, it's not the same as like the hand-in-hand touring element. So I think that the nature of like just the magnitude of content that we've released and the disproportionate amount of touring and stuff, that's been a bit surreal. That's been an unusual difference, I guess. I don't know. Was that the question? I don't know if I trailed off there. Did I answer your question?
You did, and I'm fine with you trailing off. It gives me more content, so thank you.
Yeah, no worries.
So I'm perfectly fine with that. I mean, and when you played in Adelaide as well, because I'm going to broach on this subject, you had no bassist that night, and now the singer is going to be leaving as well. What's going on, man? Is it like Days of Our Lives?
Well, we were supposed to have a bassist in Adelaide, but he got COVID.
I remember you saying that. Yeah.
So he actually just did the last 2 on Cage shows, and he'll be, provided nothing happens to him, he'll be doing Melbourne as well. And Nick is leaving the band, and this will be probably his last festival, I'd say, and then we're going to do an Aussie tour later in the year. But yeah, look, I mean, 14 years in the band and different priorities and stuff, and it was just time, you know. Like there really isn't a sort of tale to tell. Like otherwise, we wouldn't be able to do these shows. You know, we're still mates. We're still hanging out and joking around as we always would. It's just that, you know, he's moving on.
So how is the hunt for a new singer going? Because I know you've got shows lined up in Europe. Is it next year?
Yes, we've found another singer, but we're not going to announce anything until a little bit later on.
Fair enough.
So yeah, we're confident with our choice, and yeah, we'll be yeah, that's going to drive people nuts. They're going to want to know. So yeah, maybe if you could avoid putting that in, because I don't want to be punished by like a million people wanting details. But
no.
we've got a replacement. We're working on new music, you know, and we look forward to revealing all in the coming months.
So off the record, I'm not going to ask you who it is. That's rude. Off the record though, and then we'll come back to other questions. Obviously, vocally, then this person's going to be, I'm guessing, different. So will that then create a whole new sound for you guys? You already do about 37 different sounds anyway. But will that create another 20?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think a big part of choosing this person was their ability to sing the back catalogue, but also bringing something completely new. So, I mean, how's that for a brief? We want it the same but completely different.
Yeah, okay. You sound like a woman.
You know? Yeah, well, you never know. So that's the that was the plan. So yeah, I mean, I think we're all really excited, and you know, we've got Dave on bass in the band now, and he brings a different energy. He's a great bloke, and you know,
is he permanent?
Yeah, I think we're sort of getting to the point where that will be the case. He's really just been awesome, and he's really actually added a lot. Like, so we're excited to, you know, move forward. It just for us, it feels like a change. You know, like it's a new chapter as opposed to like the wheels have fallen off. You know what I mean? And I know a lot of fans are kind of like, you know, like what's happening, but for us it's you know, it's kind of refreshing to metamorphosize.
Well, it makes sense. I mean, not only do you go and drop the album, like I touched on it earlier, you've gone and done like the comic book as well as an example. What's been the feedback with that actually? I mean, what sort of response have you had with that?
Well, I mean, to be honest, I haven't really been on the internet that much to you know, I do a daily dog shit update on my Instagram. That's basically the extent. So yeah, I haven't really, and I'm serious by the way, I don't know if you follow me on Instagram, but I'm filming literally a piece of dog shit every day just to show everyone how it's changing. It's a sort of, it's an art installation sort of allegory for social media, you know? Yep. And funny enough, people are starting to look forward to the shit. They want to, it's the first thing in the day. What does it look like today? You know. So yeah,
that's just proof that if you're famous, you can literally put any old shit out and people will like it.
Well, you know, it's the easiest content to make. Like, you know, it's literally shit. So yeah, I think the comic book. Yeah, I mean. I think I need to engage with people more, and anyone, you know, who sees or hears this, I'm curious to know their thoughts, because it is pretty trippy. The whole thing is quite elaborate. I actually made a YouTube video, if you want to attach it to this, Story Time with Stevic, it's called.
Yeah. And
I actually go through and kind of explain it all and put some context into it, because there's a lot of, as soon as you start dealing with parallel realities, it can get confusing.
Yeah. Would you? So you then? That sounds like you would actually consider doing more as well in the future.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely would. left it open. It's just I'm finding now the difficult thing is, unfortunately, the amount of time it takes to create something like this isn't proportionate to the return
Okay.
that you get. So, I mean, what I would love is, like, if the interest is there, yeah, for sure. I mean, it would be awesome to continue this story. Like, I've got endless kind of ideas for when you read it, you'll see what I mean. Like, it sort of leaves things open for a lot of possibility. But, it's just one of those things I'll keep chipping away, and we'll keep this aspect to the project, and hopefully people just get more interested,
Yeah. So going back a little to the Uncaged Festival, so let's just say there's a 16-year-old kid in Melbourne, goes down on Saturday, hasn't heard 12 Foot Ninja before, doesn't know what to expect. What would you say to them if you were stood next to them?
I would say, what kind of expression do they have on their face?
I just can't help but feeling it's like taking acid and then watching a Love Boat. Like, that's my reaction.
Yeah. I think, I hope, what would be really cool is if they had the reaction that I had when I first heard Mr. Bungle when I was 16.
Oh, yeah.
That would be very rewarding. Like, just to go, hey, you know what? You can do all this other stuff with music. There aren't any rules. You don't have to stick to, one kind of thing. And there's different ways to carry a song. So, and I think it can be fun. Like, I like to think that, we're trying to provide a bit of an antithesis to the whole vanity, demigod kind of thing that some people try and project. Like, we're trying to show you can be serious about your music, but not take yourself too seriously.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, we're just dog shit on Instagram, aren't we?
That's the heading. That's the title I needed. That's it right there.
There we go. There's always going to be a philosophical bent in there, isn't there? But
yeah. And you're right though, because one of the things I've always enjoyed about your shows is, strangely enough, isn't the music. It actually is the camaraderie and the fun. And I think even in Adelaide you had some technical problems at the beginning as well, and you guys just kind of roll with it. It's like, oh well, it's fucked up, bang. Yeah, you almost highlight it to the point it's funny.
Yeah.
And then bang.
Yeah, I think that people. I don't know. They just, when people go out to see a band, I think they just want to have a laugh and enjoy some music and have a good time. Like, it's meant to be entertainment and it's meant to be fun, and it's just, honestly, it's liberating to take the piss, out of things. It just makes it so much more enjoyable, and it sort of, I think it brings the stakes back down to earth. Like, it's kind of, at the end of the day, what are we doing? We're again, I'm about to get philosophical, but it's like the bowbird collecting blue pen lids to build a castle to impress a mate. Like, humans would see that and go, that's ridiculous, but we've built these planks of wood and magnetic pickups and whatever, and we're playing, and, it's not as important as it seems. So to, have fun is the key point. I think someone put it like, live like the fox and don't be the tortured artist. The fox laughs at everything. I don't know, in that story, the fox can talk and laugh. For some reason, there's a talking fox and there's a tortured artist. It gets a bit sort of convoluted at some point, but be like the talking fox is the main point.
Okay. I'm feeling like I've just been transported into the end of the video over and out. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Well, that was the whole point of that. That's actually what you just described. When we shot the video in Finland, I was like, this actually makes no sense. So I just went with it. and that became the point became pointlessness.
Yeah, love it. Well, look, I thank you very much for your time. I've taken up too much of your time anyway.
That's all right. Great chatting, mate.
Yeah, likewise. And I'll let you go. Have a great. I will check you out on Instagram later on. I'll have a laugh. And best of luck on Saturday's show, and hope to see you in Adelaide very soon.
Yeah, no worries. We'll be there later in the year, so we'll have a beer.
Excellent.
Or lemon, lime, and bitters, or whatever tickles your fancy.
Beer's fine with me.
Good shit. Awesome, man. Well, enjoy your evening. I'll talk to you later.
Thanks, Stevic. Bye.
See you, buddy.